The Hourglass by Robert Barr. Bertram Eastford had intended to pass the shop of his old friend the curiosity dealer, into whose pockets so much of his money had gone, for trinkets gathered from all quarters of the globe. He knew it was a weakness on his part to select that street, when he might have taken another, but he thought it would do no harm to treat himself to one glance at the seductive window of the old curiosity shop, where the dealer was in the habit of displaying his latest acquisitions. The window was never quite the same, and it had a continued fascination for Bertram Eastford. But this time, he said to himself resolutely, he would not enter, having, as he assured himself, the strength of mind to forego this temptation. However, he reckoned without his window, for in it there was an old object newly displayed, which caught his attention as effectually as a half-driven nail arrests the hem of a cloak. On the central shelf of the window stood an hourglass, its framework of some wood as black as ebony. He stood gazing at it for a moment, then turned to the door and went inside, greeting the ancient shopman, whom he knew so well. "I want to look at the hourglass you have in the window," he said. "Ah, yes," replied the curiosity dealer. "The cheap watch has driven the hourglass out of the commercial market, and we rarely pick up a thing like that nowadays." He took the hourglass from the shelf in the window, reversed it, and placed it on a table. The ruddy sand began to pour through into the lower receptacle in a thin, constant stream, as if it were blood that had been dried and powdered. Eastford watched the ever-increasing heap at the bottom, rising conically, changing its shape every moment, as little avalanches of the sand fell away from its heightening sides. "There's no need for you to extol its antiquity," said Eastford with a smile. "I knew the moment I looked at it that such glasses are rare, and you are not going to find me a cheapening customer." "So far from overpraising it," protested the shopman, "I was about to call your attention to a defect. It is useless as a measurer of time." "It doesn't record the exact hour, then?" asked Eastford. "Well, I suppose the truth is they were not very particular in the old days, and time was not money as it is now. It measures the hour with great accuracy," the curio dealer went on. "That is, if you watch it, but strangely enough, after it has run for half an hour or thereabouts, through some defect in the neck of the glass or in the pulverizing of the sand, it stops and will not go again unless the glass is shaken." The hourglass at that moment verified what the old man said. The tiny stream of sand suddenly ceased, but went on again the moment its owner jarred the frame, and continued pouring without interruption. "That is very singular," said Eastford. "How do you account for it?" "I imagine it is caused by some inequality in the grains of sand. Probably a few atoms larger than the others come together at the neck, and so stop the percolation. It always does it, and of course I cannot remedy the matter because the glass is hermetically sealed." "Well, I don't want it as a timekeeper, so we will not allow that defect to interfere with the sale. How much do you ask for it?" The dealer named his price, and Eastford paid the amount asked. "I shall send it to you this afternoon." "Thank you," said the customer, taking his leave. That night in his room, Bertram Eastford wrote busily until a late hour. When his work was concluded, he pushed away his manuscript with a sigh of that deep contentment which comes from a man who has not wasted his day. He replenished his open fire, drew his most comfortable armchair in front of it, took the green shade from his lamp, thus filling the luxurious apartment with a light that was reflected from armour and from ancient weapons standing in corners and hung along the walls. He lifted the paper-covered package, cut the strong cord that
Sample complete. Ready to continue?